Hey, welcome. Today we're going to dive into a skill every great leader has to master, the art of delegation. Whether you're managing a small team or an entire company, the ability to delegate effectively can make or break your leadership. Now, delegating is not just about handing tasks off to someone else. It's about creating an environment where both you and your team can thrive. So, I'd like to talk about three key principles for delegating effectively. One, developing clear lines of authority and responsibility. Two, empowering managers to own their projects and their teams. And three, using goals that have clear KPIs to monitor progress without micromanaging. So let's start with the first principle, developing clear lines of authority and responsibility. Delegation isn't just about distributing tasks, it's about ensuring that everyone knows who is responsible for what. So, when you assign tasks, make sure that you are crystal clear about two things: one, authority, and two, responsibility. Now, authority means the individual or team has the decision making power. Responsibility means that they're accountable for the outcome. These two go hand in hand. If someone has responsibility for completing a task, but doesn't have the authority to make decisions, you're probably setting them up for failure. Now, here's a tip if you're not the leader and you want your leader to delegate better: followership. You can ask them, what are the limits of your authority? How much decision making power do you have on your own? When do they want you to check in? And you can also ask, what will you be held responsible for in the outcome? What is it they expect from you? And if it isn't clear, ask them for an example or a clear metric that you can grasp onto. Leaders will probably find something like the RACI model really useful. Now, RACI stands for responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed. And each letter of the acronym represents a different level of ownership for the people involved or those connected to a project. So here's another followership tip you can use. Use this model to clarify different stakeholders for any project that you have to do. Who's responsible? Who's accountable? Now, here's a quick example I can give you from some work I just did with a small business owner. He had to delegate a project to a team leader, and the team leader just kept coming back for approval on every single decision. The leader didn't feel like he was allowed to make decisions on his own. The issue here lies with the business owner. He wasn't delegating effectively. So I taught him the RACI model and we shared it with the team leads. And it gave them a mutual system to make sure everyone was on the same page. And once they started using the RACI model to determine authority and decision making within clear boundaries, and who was what in terms of who needed to be consulted and informed about different things that were going on, and ultimately who was accountable for what, everybody, the leader and the followers, were far more comfortable. And this let the team leads know who needed to be informed and who else was going to be impacted by the work and who needed to be consulted. And when they didn't feel like they had enough information, they were able to rest on the RACI system as a way to request clarity about their responsibilities and authority and who other stakeholders were and what they needed to know. So using RACI makes sure that the people undertaking the mission know who to talk to about what. and it minimizes confusion. It avoids overlap. And I think most importantly, it allows people to take ownership of their work. Now, the second principle, empowering managers to own projects and teams, is about effective delegation through the lens of trust. If you're a small business owner, a founder, if you're a team lead, you can't be everywhere at once, and you shouldn't try to. Your role is to set direction and trust that your people, your managers, and leaders can lead their teams and handle the projects independently. This is especially important as your business grows. Whether you're a founder, a CEO, or if you're a team lead and your team is growing, you need to be able to rely on the people underneath you to oversee critical areas without you micromanaging. You have to empower them, not just with the authority to make decisions, but also let them know that they have your confidence and that you trust their judgment. When they feel trusted, they are far more likely to rise to the occasion and make decisions that align with your overall strategy. And here's the thing, and this is super important. It's okay if they make mistakes. Delegating means giving people the room to learn and grow. And if they stumble, your job is to support them and guide them and teach them, not to take back the project. Part of leadership is helping them develop their leadership capabilities, and their own growth is in your hands. So let them own their projects, give them the tools they need to succeed, take a step back, and if things go wrong, teach them, guide them, but don't take it away from them. You're just cutting their legs out from under them. The third principle is about using goals with clear KPIs so you can monitor progress without micromanaging. So if you think about this for a minute, once you've delegated, right, this is about you being able to stay informed without the team members feeling like you're always stepping in. So this is where goals with clear key performance indicators, or KPIs, come into play. KPIs give you this high level view of how things are progressing. Now, you need a board, you need some way to see these without always asking questions, and they have to be measurable and objective, and they have to be directly tied to a goal you set. So if you've assigned a project to your sales team or to another team, your KPIs, they can include, weekly reports, numbers, acquisition rates, conversion times, how much are we spending? There's any number of different ways to look at it, but that's information that you don't need to ask for. It should be information that's readily available, because it allows you to monitor outcomes without hovering over people's shoulders. So instead of asking for constant updates or involving yourself in their day-to-day tasks, you get to track progress through these indicators, see how close they are to meeting goals, and see what's going on without getting super involved. And if you see there's something wrong, you can discuss the goals with the managers or the project leads and help course correct. And it gives your team authority, autonomy, and to work in a way that lets them feel like they have freedom and they aren't being micromanaged. Now, remember, I'm not saying that delegation is about washing your hands of the project. It's about creating a structure where you can maintain oversight in a way that empowers your team to work efficiently and independently. So I just want to recap. Delegating effectively means setting clear lines of authority and responsibility, empowering your managers to own their projects and teams, and then using a system where you can see clear KPIs attached to goals and objectives and monitor that progress without micromanaging. You have to remember, the art of delegation is about trust, empowerment, and strategic oversight, not tactical oversight. When you get it right, not only will your team become more effective, but you will be freed up to focus on the big picture, the things that only you, as the business owner, as the CEO, as the founder, as the leader, can do. So, riddle me this. How are you going to use delegation to focus on that bigger picture that is calling to you? What is it you're going to do to make sure that when you delegate, you now have time to focus on the big stuff. Thanks for watching. And here's to the art of delegation. I hope that these insights have been helpful. If you have any questions or thoughts, feel free to reach out to me directly. You can contact me on my website. And please don't forget to, like, subscribe, ring the bell, and show a little bit of love. Subscribe and let me know what else you'd like to hear about. And quite frankly, I hope to see you next time. Thanks.